Nail or beauty school was just the beginning, right? What on earth do you do now? Welcome to the Salon Success Podcast with Monaco Nail Academy. Our topics stretch beyond nails and into all things salon related, business, marketing, and social media, and at the very least hits you with real honest stories about our experiences. This isn't school, this is real life, real business, and really freaking hard work. Before we get started, wherever you are, thumbs up, tag a friend in the comments, or hit that share button and support small business. Hey guys, Penny here from Monaco Nail Academy, and today I'm joined by Pat.
Kia ora.
And Erin.
Hello.
And Jade's here.
Hi.
And we have another pet request. We love a request, so if you guys have anything you want us to chat about on the podcast, please let us know either in a comment on Spotify or on YouTube or like wherever. But we have one from Pat this week, which is, I think, based off an episode we did like a month or so ago about the differences between nail systems. So today we're going to talk about how to actually match the right service to your client. But before we do that, let's revisit last week's lesson and also get some affiliate codes. Who's got a code they want to share?
So I have a code. My code is Little Moon. What about you, Jade?
Mine is Beauty by Jade.
Mine is Patsitive, and a reminder that these codes are going to get you 10% off any of our courses. And this is how we, make money from the podcast, I guess.
Alrighty, so Erin, can you give us a little recap on what we chatted about last week?
Yeah, so last week we were talking about taking deposits and cancellation fees, or booking fees rather, cancellation fee being the opposite of that. And yeah, we're just talking about what our thoughts and were around it and whether we implemented them.
Jade, do you charge a deposit or do booking fees?
I don't do a deposit or a booking fee, just because if a client didn't show for whatever reason, they would have a fee. They wouldn't be able to rebook until that fee was paid anyway. But in saying that, I have lost a bit of money because I had people book, I've charged them a fee and then they've never booked again, whether that's my time or money. So I have been thinking maybe I do need to implement that, but yeah, just sort of in the works, figuring out if I want to do that or not. So I need to give a podcast a listen, I think.
You really do, because we talked about like how your booking software can actually charge a cancellation fee. Yeah. So okay, that'll give it a listen.
Listen.
And it's interesting too, like just touching on what you were saying, Jade, by taking a booking fee, you're guaranteed that, whereas with the cancellation fee, they just won't book again, right? But yeah, and one way also too, you may not want them to book again, because if they're going to be the kind of person that continually does that kind of thing, then you don't want them as a client anyway.
Yeah, no way, because it's your time. Yeah.
So from booking fees and deposits on to what we're going to give those clients, Pat, do you want to take the lead on this conversation because it's your idea?
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so to give context on where this podcast idea comes from, we are obviously Monaco Nail Academy runs this podcast. So we have a really cool learning community of students and graduates. And I have noticed since joining this community that a question that tends to pop up quite often or quite regularly is people will be like, so-and-so is happening with my client, or my client has this situation, blah, 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 XYZ. And then people are like, what should I do? Or what service should I offer? So it seems like a really good topic to talk about. Like, what are specific, like what factors are we supposed to consider when we want to cater the right service to the right client? What are things we want to look out for? What are some lifestyle factors that might make it easier, might make one service better for one client versus another? And like one more thing we'll go over is just like, be confident you're the professional. Even if your client is telling you, I want dip, if dip isn't right for them, then you stand there and say, nah, I'm not giving you dip because that's not the right thing. So now that I've given you an overview, we're going to jump straight into it. So ladies, when we are doing our services, do you find that your clients come up to you and tell you that they want something specific, or do you try and do your consult and figure out what's the right service for them? And how do you decide what to do?
I'm kind of a mix. So I don't advertise like a consultation prior to an appointment kind of thing. But what happens is the client books. Firstly, I ask them if they've had the product before because they may have had it from another salon. So, like, for example, say someone comes in for a biab. I say, have you had biab before? And they're like, yeah, I really love it. It lasts, this long for me. This is my lifestyle. And then I automatically know, like, that's the right match for them. But I know with some girls in the past, I've had nail biter, for example, book in for a set of pre-formed soft gel extensions, which you don't want super long or they're just going to pop off. And they think they can wear them long. So it's kind of right to them. If you want to wear your nails super, super long length, why don't we try something like biab where we could grow your natural nails out to a long length, or we could put like a hard gel extension on you and sculpt it, but do it at a practical length where you're not putting too much pressure on the nail. So, and that normally helps a lot of people. A lot of people think they have to go straight to, something more extravagant than starting with the basics kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of how I do it. And I always recommend like what I think to be someone. If they choose to go against that, because it does happen, people are like, oh, just put long extensions anyway, then I basically run through the risks, and there actually is a waiver at the bottom of my consultation form that says if you go with a product that I don't recommend, basically it releases all claims from the salon, and that they can't, I don't know, do whatever against me to be like this didn't last, like I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I do.
That 100% makes sense, especially because I'm pretty sure that's literally in the policy section for Monaco Salon Success. And so if you are like, what the heck, what is that? Jump onto the Monaco website. It's for $15 only. You can get just the policies part of the Salon Success module, and it has videos and templates that walk you through what you need to consider for your policies, and a release waiver is on there. That's one of the things. So how good. I really love, Jade, that you talked about you ask your clients, have they had the service before? Because that's like a really easy way to gauge, like, if they've had it before and it's successful, then cool, it's a right fit. And if they haven't had it before, then you ask more questions. Like that really makes sense. Erin, what about you? What do you do?
Yeah, very similar. Obviously, when the client first comes in, I ask them all the questions that I, ask them what they do for a job and what they like to do, outside of work, and what their lifestyle's like and what their nail goals are. And then I will usually be asking those questions while I'm prepping their nail, and I'm sort of analyzing their nail as I'm doing it and looking at their nail plate. And I will ask them questions like, do you find that, for example, your nails are really bendy, or they snap easy, or whatever, appropriate questions. And then I will determine what I think is going to be the best product for them, and I will ask them if they've ever had it before. Sometimes they'll say, yeah, I have, and it worked quite well. And then cool, that's awesome. Or they'll say, no, I haven't. And I'll say, okay, we'll try this and see how you go. Sometimes it works perfectly. And every now and again, you might get someone that you have to do a wee bit of trial and error on. And I always just say to new clients, if you have any trouble in the first week, then I will do a repair for free if it seems to be that it's not caused by you damaging them, and so forth. And I would like to work with them to solve any troubleshooting that we might need to do if they've got particularly stubborn nails in terms of retention or whatever.
I think that's really cool. Like, you've got a very thorough process there. Like, you're the professional, you've told them what to do, but also recognizing that sometimes you just have to figure it out on the go, and setting that expectation with the client so that they're okay with hey, this might not work, but this is
Mhm.
why we're going to go with it. So it makes it so that the client's less likely to get pissy about it, because it's like, oh, yeah, you've given them the heads up. And
Yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah.
So it's not always cut and dry, like sometimes there's medication or hormone things that can affect product retention and stuff like that. And I think being transparent and open with the client about that stuff, because they probably aren't educated on that, it gives them a better expectation of what to expect, and that sometimes it isn't always just that instant gratification of, yes, my nails are sorted now and off I go.
I think that makes sense. Yeah. What about you, Penny? What do you do in your salon?
So first of all, I think it's really funny that you just used the word pissy, because I caught myself using it twice in the last episode or the episode before, and it's not a word I normally use. So when it came out of my mouth, I just was like, okay. And then, but you just said it, and I'm like, wait, did I catch it off you or did you catch it off me? So, anyways, I'm very similar to the other two. The only thing I would add is that, like, people can book for whatever they want. That doesn't mean they're getting it. So I almost never do dip, like SNS dip. It's on my services list because people ask for it. So it's there. They can book it. But no matter what someone books, the second they sit down in my chair, I'm asking very early on, why do you want it? So like if I've never met them before or whatever, and they sit down, I'm going to be like, okay, cool. So what are we doing today? A gel manicure? Yes. Cool. What makes you want gel? Because their answer is going to tell me what they actually need. So if they say, oh, well, I just have always got it at my salon I go to in a different town. I really love it. It just keeps my nails from breaking. Great. Perfect. You can have it. But if I say, why do you want gel? And they go, because my friend has it. I'm like, okay, tell me more about your goals with your nails, blah, blah, blah. Or if they say they want acrylic and I say, why do you want it? And they go, because my nails break all the time. Okay, where are they breaking? Like, is it low down? Is it like vertical or horizontal? Like, have you had acrylic before? Like what Jade was saying, because chances are I'm actually going to pull them back down the A to B scale, which if you don't know what the A to B scale is, go back a few episodes and listen to the episode. Trying to think of what it was called, but I know that I know what's on the thumbnail. It's like gel, BRB, acrylic. Go back and listen to that episode. But anyways, I'm most likely going to pull them down to a more flexible, better adhesive product. So yeah, pretty much what everybody else said, but with the addition of saying why.
That's so cool, Penny, that's what you do. Because I literally wrote down in my notes as Erin and Jade was talking, I was like, what made you pick this service? So it's like you read my mind, or I subconsciously picked it up from you from contracting with hard lacquer. So that's cool. I love that. Great. So everyone's now shared about what they currently do with their clients, like the process. For our listeners at home, what are some of the things that we need to look out for as nail techs or lifestyle factors that our clients talk about? Like, what should we be considering that, give us an inkling about what service we should point people to?
Someone might come in and be like, yeah, I work in an office and I type a lot. Outside of my work, I ride horses and have a lifestyle property. So instantly I'm going to be like, right, this person needs to have an active length and I'll be explaining, and I will usually say, right, so you wouldn't want anything too long then, right? And then I will say, do you find your nails are really bendy or soft? Do they crack a lot? And when they answer the question, they might say, yep, they bend heaps. So instantly I'm going to think, right, so they need a more flexible product that's going to work with their nails. And 9 times out of 10, that's probably BIAB if they're wanting to grow a little bit of length. If they aren't concerned about length and they just want to have nice, pretty short nails, then a gel polish with maybe a rubber base coat or something like that. That's how I determine in my mind as I'm asking the questions and they're answering what product is going to be best. And then I will say to them, I think that this product's going to work really well for you. Shall we give this a go?
Wow, there's like a lot to unpack there, and I love that. So it sounds like we all need to make sure that we start with why it's important, right? Like, what are you looking out for? Why are you actually here for the service? And then making sure we're asking the right questions so that we can figure out which way we're supposed to be steering them on the A to B scale. And it sounds like everyone's doing that. It's like, okay, do you wash your hands? Are you like swimming all the time? Because then we need something that can cope with that. Or will you commit to wearing gloves? That sort of thing. Like, how strict are you going to be with your aftercare? Like, open-ended questions will help us get to the bottom. It's like we're detectives and we're trying to figure out like who's the culprit, except it's like which service is the best for you. So that's cool. And also, like, recapping a little bit, we talked about what to do if we figured out that it should be dip, for example. I mean, I don't know why it would be dip. Let's say we want it to be biab. I'm not trying to be a hater on dip, sorry, but so let's say we've determined actually we think it should be biab, but then they're like, no, I really want it to be dip. And like Jade said, if that's going to be the case, then we can really go, okay, cool, we've offered you the alternative, and here's why. But if you don't want it, then cool, but here's a waiver, like, and cover ourselves. So that's cool.
I'm
Yeah.
just always trying to also keep them as close to the A end of the scale. So the A to B scale, the A end is products that are more flexible, have better adhesion, are generally easier to remove, but they're not always the most strong. The B end, honestly, all it's got going for it is strength. Generally, those products have worse adhesion, worse flexibility, which is very important. Flexibility is really important for a lot of reasons. Go listen to the other episode. And they're harder to remove generally. So I'm always going to try and keep somebody as close to the A end as possible. I want them to have something that is really flexible, that's going to work with their nail because it's less likely to cause damage, something that's going to be really easy to take off if they decide it's not for them. And I'm only going to bump them up from A towards B if the thing at the A end doesn't have enough strength. So I'm going to try and give them gel polish. But if they have nails that split or break easily, I'm going to go, okay, well, we're probably going to have to go for rubber base. If that doesn't work, or if they tell me at their first appointment that their nails always break or they're really hard on them or whatever, okay, we're going to bump you up to builder in a bottle. It's only really like the only other thing the B end has going for it is customizability, like to do a stiletto or to do stuff like that. So there's always exceptions to the rule, but generally I'm trying to keep them close to the A end. And if they insist that they want a specific product, then I follow what Jade was saying about being like, all right, but then it's on you.
Okay.
I've had a client come before and we did gel on her and she was like, I need something stronger. And she wanted to go straight to hard gel. And I was like, because hard gels file off, I was like, look, I'd actually recommend to go for biab first. And then if it's not lasting or it's like strong enough as what you need to be and you're still getting lots of lifting, then we'll put you onto hard gel where we can give you a bit more strength. Because I don't want to put her straight on hard gel for it to then not work, to then have to file it off. So basically what ended up happening was she went for the hard gel and it was actually too strong for her nails and it wasn't flexible enough. So she was getting excessive chipping on the ends of her nails.
That's like a really good rule of thumb for people, I guess. So it's like, everyone, if you're going to get one thing out of this, remember, start towards the A before you move towards the B, which is kind of technical, but hey, we are nail techs, so we've got this.
Nails are different too. Like just because you be spring, can wear hard gel super great and she loves it, that doesn't mean it's best for your nails, like, so it's just, getting people on the right path.
So true. And that's exactly why we want to personalize it, right? And that's comes back to another reason why it's good to go to an independent nail tech or to a boutique service, not one of the salons in the malls, for example, is because we have the ability to consider and think about your personal circumstances and what your needs are. So yeah, I mean, probably preaching to the choir, because if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably a nail tech. Yeah.
Or
okay.
a beauty therapist or a hairdresser.
Yeah, true. Or a beauty, yeah. Or a lash technician like me.
Hey guys, Penny here, and I'm just dropping in to let you know about our free 5-day marketing training, The Client Magnet. So we all want more clients, right? And I know a lot of people think the only way to attract newbies is with a deal or a discount. So cue the buzzer sound, wrong. We've put together a free 5-day program just for you, people who want to boost bookings and grow their business the smart way. So if you're just starting out or if you're looking to boost your existing business, this is perfect for you if you know you need more clients, but you're overwhelmed and you don't know where to start. Isn't that all of us? Or you want better quality clients, ones who know your worth and book in regularly and tell all their friends about you. Or maybe you're stuck in a trap of offering deals and you know it's damaging the value of your services. Or just maybe you've seen enough cute inspo reels to last a lifetime and you've got the motivation, but you just need actionable step-by-step strategies to grow your salon bookings. If any of these resonate with you, you've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Let's get you started. You're going to get 5 daily videos where we teach you how to identify your ideal client, where to find them, and how to attract them into your salon with no discounts required. You're going to get step-by-step guidance, no fluffy stuff here. We're going to cut to the chase and give you real steps that you can do right now for actual real change. And then you're going to get live Q&As with direct access to our mentors via an exclusive group chat. They'll answer your questions and provide insights to help you succeed. And finally, community support. The competition-free zone is alive and well. Use our exclusive Magnet group chat to network with fellow participants, share experiences, ask questions, and support each other. Now, if you're thinking, I'm so busy, I don't have time for this, that's fine. The lessons are pre-recorded, the Q&A is live, but it all fits around any schedule and every aspect is optional. So if you get busy, you just do it later. Soak up what you can, you'll get something out of it. I know you're afraid to fail, but what if you don't? What if we just do this? So head to www.monaco.ac.nz/magnet. You don't have to be a nail tech. You can be any service industry, to be honest, but any corner of the beauty world, this will work for you. So www.monaco.ac.nz/magnet, and I'll see you inside the course.
Let's talk about some common scenarios that might come up that, ignoring all other factors, you might steer people towards a specific service or not. Okay, so I'm gonna throw something out there and then people can be like, I would recommend this for this reason. For example, let's say the client is elderly. What would you normally recommend for them and their brittle nails?
I would probably be advising them to use cuticle oil really frequently, for one. And I would probably just do exactly what we've been talking about. I'd start them with gel polish and say the same things I say to every new client. If you find that you have any problems, come back and see me, and I usually offer a free repair in the first 7 days if it's due to them following all after, if they've followed all aftercare and that I can see that it's probably chipped from the, I don't know, side or something, then and I will troubleshoot it if need be. It's either going to be work perfectly or it's not. So and I have lots of elderly clients who are regular BIAB clients, and it works really, really well. And their nails do tend to be more rigid and dry, but the BIAB seems to have just enough strength and flexibility for their nails, and they usually have quite an active length and they love it. They're quite often the ones that I've got, regular clients that I've got, are retired women who love their 2 or 3 weekly treat that they have for themselves. I even have an 80-year-old client, or a lady that's in her 80s, who actually still works, believe it or not, who wears
Whoa.
BIAB. Yeah, she's incredible. I'm always like, she just doesn't even look like she's in her 80s. She's amazing. And she religiously gets a coloured BIAB, like a nude coloured BIAB with a sparkle, like a sheer sparkle over the top, every time. It's I love her. She's great.
The thing is with brittle nails is it's a very specific thing. It's a very specific example that you've given us that we can't solve with the topic of this podcast, because yes, there's still a right thing to put on her, but brittleness is a lack of flexibility. When something is brittle, it means it is inflexible, and therefore it means it can't cope with things like typing, or like if you bang your hand, it's your nails are more likely to break, because what flexibility gives us is the ability to like go with the flow, so to speak. Like in real life, if you are a flexible human, you quite go with the flow, easy to just do whatever happens, like take the punches kind of thing. Your nails, if they are flexible, it's the same concept. If you like shut your hand in a drawer, your nails will flex with that punishing movement and therefore not break. Brittleness is a lack of flexibility, and therefore the opposite happens. Your nails are going to break at the slightest thing that happens. So we can put a product on them. Her age isn't so much of a factor. We don't want to put something super drying, but none of our products should be particularly drying. They shouldn't damage the nail. So you would go to other factors to determine what was the right thing for her. I would go all the way back to the A end. Okay, well, how brittle are they? How likely are they to break? How much strength do I have to give you to avoid the breakages that come from being brittle? And in the meantime, like Erin said, you're putting as much cuticle oil on as you can, as many times a day as you can, until we get some healthy nail growth and then move into maintenance mode.
Would something like IBX be beneficial in this situation? No. Okay.
No, IBX. This is one of the very few times that IBX is a terrible idea, because it's going to make them more brittle.
Oh, because it'll be more rigid.
Yeah, it's going to make them more rigid. And if she wears her nails quite short and they're only a little bit brittle or something like that, okay, IBX might actually work. It will add some strength. But generally, like, the reason that with IBX, for people that are in the know, like people with IBX, we graduate people into maintenance mode, because if you didn't graduate them into maintenance mode, your nails would become brittle, because they're so thin and you're loading them up with a really strong product, but very, very thin amounts of it. So it becomes brittle. Like, so yeah, I don't know. If they weren't that bad, like just they weren't great, they just were breaking sometimes and she wears them quite short, IBX could be a go. IBX is incredible, but generally I would try her on cuticle oil. You could do IBX anyway, but I wouldn't do it more than once without really focusing on actually putting the flexibility back in. Flexibility is so much more important than strength. IBX gives strength. Cuticle oil gives flexibility, and flexibility is more important. Brittleness is an indicator of a lack of flexibility. Therefore, the fix is not more strength. The fix is more flexibility. And then whatever strength we have to give it to cope.
I'm like, okay, write down flexibility over strength. Like, I think that's a talking point that we need to remember. That's so good. Okay. Cool. I'm going to throw out another situation and we can just share our thoughts. What if someone is regularly going swimming? They live in a beach town, for example.
Penny?
I just talked heaps, so I was just kind of like waiting for you guys.
I probably would go with something like a gel. I find it's too soft for them. I personally find if I go with something a bit more structured, like a bibe or a hard gel, it tends to last a lot longer. But that's just my personal experience with my clients. I don't know if that's the correct answer. Yeah, I just find something that has got a wee bit more strength and stuff to it that doesn't soften as easily. It tends to last a little bit longer on them. Yeah.
I agree with you, Jade, and like I don't know that there is a correct answer as such, because not one size fits all. As we know, everyone's nails are slightly different, but generally speaking, that's what my experience has been too. Like people like hairdressers who have their hands in water a lot, and people who go swimming. I did have a client who swam every morning, and the biab worked really well for her. But then a hairdresser that I did nails for a while needed the hard gel, because obviously that just was what worked better for her nails. So yeah, once again, bit of trial and error, and we got there and found the right fit, and yeah.
People are going to get mad at me because I'm going to sound like a stuck record, but this is a flexibility issue. So if someone's hands are in if someone's hands are in water all the time, either through hairdressing or swimming or whatever, when your nails / your whole body, but like when your nails are wet for an extended period of time, literally a minute or longer, but the longer the more, when your nails are wet for an extended period of time, they start to expand and change. And then when they dry, they shrink back to normal. While they're expanding and changing, they're also full of moisture. They become really flexible and they change shape. When they dry, they become more brittle again and they change shape. So flexibility in our nail product becomes important because it has to be able to change shape with the natural nail, because your water exposure is changing its shape. If you have something really inflexible on top of it, like acrylic, the acrylic is not going to budge. Your nail is changing, and therefore in tiny little micro movements, it is going to pry itself away from the acrylic, which you're going to call lifting. So you're going to get lifting because the acrylic is inflexible. We go straight back to what I was saying before. Broken record, boring, shut up, Penny. Start at the A end with the most flexible thing and only bump up when you need more strength, which is what the others were saying. You know, everybody's different and you're going to have to make a judgment call. But so you start at the A end with the most flexible. Is gel polish going to work? No. Is biab? Yes for this person, but hard gel for the other.
I think it's handy to talk about like just examples of what's worked for us and our clients here, because if you don't have the experience yet, then it's handy for you to know like what's worked for others in the past, but also like why it's worked. So even if you say, Penny, that you sound like a broken record, like it's a broken record that is speaking truth bombs, so we should be listening. So that's handy. Okay, one last scenario. Let's say the person is really, really active and into like, I don't know, maybe they are a tradie and also they like lifting weights. Like, ooh, what a baddie. And also they ride horses. This is I don't know, like I've just created a person who's like really intense. Yeah. What would we do for them?
Again, I would just ask the question, like, what's your goal? Are you wanting to have a little bit of length, or you don't care about the length? And start at the A end, like Penny said. If they didn't want length, then start with gel polish. If they're wanting to grow a little bit of length, then probably biab so that it can support the length. Or they might be able to naturally grow their own length with just gel polish too, and that will come down to their specific nails. Yeah.
I was thinking as well that like we could ask like, what's this for? Is this a regular thing or is this like a one-off? Is there an occasion? Because if this person's like super duper active, do they really want like those long nails all the time? Or is this like there's a wedding coming up, so they want nice nails for that, and then they want to take it straight off? In which case, then I might say, okay, we might be able to do something fancy schmancy like hard gel or acrylic for you, but we have to take it off straight after, okay? Like it's already booked. Like that might be fine, but if it's Penny's got something to say. Okay.
But if you want it taken off straight after, you're going to go back to the A end for the easier removal. You're not going to go for acrylic, which is like a 45-minute safe, good, professional removal.
But what if this person's like, no, I really want like Cardi B nails, like
freeform soft
gel
extensions.
True.
Sorry, Penny.
No, I mean, it's like, say it with me. Preform soft gel extensions.
Yeah. We'll chant it.
Because I have a lot of girls coming to me and I say they're going on holiday overseas, or they've got a full on, or they've got a wedding, or super exciting. And a lot of the time they're wanting, long nails because they've got really short nails. But it's quite common that I see people booking for the hard gel because they think it's so much better than preform soft extensions. But it's like, I don't want to spend ages filing this off your nails when we could go with the preforms and then just soak them off, because it's just so much easier. Like, yeah, I never, ever put hard gel on people that are just wanting it for a one-time wear. Like, I'm not putting this on to just take it off 3 weeks later, like file it off straight away. I don't know. It's just me personally. I only put hard gel on people that I know it's going to be like a regular thing. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I guess like, as we're having these conversations with the client, it's really important that at the end of it, like, or throughout the conversation, we're still focusing on what's keeping the client's nails healthy and keeping the client happy, and just balancing that and communicating throughout. If you've got clients who are coming in and they're like, no, I really want to do this, as we've discussed, we can say that, cool, you can do your own thing and I'll do it, but sign this waiver and don't be mad at me if something bad happens because you didn't listen. We've got some other tips as well, and it's like, if we're finding that people are going against our recommendations often, then maybe we need to think about how are we communicating, because maybe they're not getting it and that's why they're not listening to us, in which case communication will help. Also, if we've got client testimonials available on our website or our Instagram or whatever, that may also help people be like, oh yeah, Jade knows what she's talking about, Pat knows what she's talking about. Like, she's got this nail biter and she was able to grow out their nails. Like, that's really handy for people because then they're more likely to believe you. And, yeah, instead of it just being like, I'm the boss and I'm telling you what to do.
I don't think it's a case of them, like, I guess it's how you phrase it, but I don't think it's a case of them not listening. I think it's a case of them listening and doing what they wanted anyway. And maybe that's just what you mean by saying they're not listening to us, but like, they're allowed. Like, I'm sure there's probably nail techs out there that are hard ass that are like, if you don't do what I say you have to do, I'm not doing your nails. I don't know of anyone who's in that position. I think most of us are like, this is what we recommend professionally. This is why we recommend it. Anything else that you do, that's your prerogative. So if people are regularly not doing the thing I told them they should do, I mean, that just doesn't happen. But like, if that was the situation and people are regularly going against my advice, yeah, okay, I can look at how I'm phrasing it. But also, that's their prerogative. They're going to learn. Like, the number of people that are like, no, I'm going to get dip anyway. And then they're like, actually, can I try the other thing? Like, it just, people will work it out. If you're right, they work it out.
That reinforces that you are the professional and you should just be confident. So tell your client what you think. And if they don't want to listen, that's on them. That's fine. They are allowed.
I've got like something I've done. I don't know if it's like a slight change of topic, but I guess it kind of fits in. So basically, like, you've got a classic scenario of a client coming in and, you're making sure they're picking the right service and whatnot. But a while ago on my social medias, I actually did a guide to choosing the right nail service for you. And I put like pictures in it of like what each service looked like. And I kind of just like broke it down to make it like easy when people booking, just in case they are unsure, but also like, I don't know, educates people well. So I don't know, like little social media things like that I have done before. But also, as you said before, Pat, with the like the testimonials, like I do like 60 stories. So like whether it's like gel, IBX, viable hard gel, I do like, especially if it's like a natural nail growth journey, I'll do like a before and an after picture, and then I just get the client to like write up just a bit of a testimonial about like, what the expectations were when they initially booked, and how they found the experience and stuff. And I find it's a good way to generate clients, because there's a lot of, I find in Dunedin, there's a lot of nail biters that are in this mindset, and I feel like it's a nail biter mindset in general, but they're like, oh, I'm never going to grow my nails, like it's not possible kind of things. And they see like these stories of other girls having really cool experiences, they are like, oh my gosh, I have to book. Like, yeah, so I find those things are like kind of were helpful. Just a slight change of topic.
I think that means we should stalk your Instagram page, Jade, and so we can learn from it.
It also just ties in with like what we were talking about with Keita a few weeks ago as well, like in terms of content and positioning ourselves as like authorities or experts when we were talking about what makes good quality content. Like it ties in with what Jade's saying. So I don't think it's that much of a change of topic because Pat, you were saying, what if they don't listen? And then Jade's like, here, I position myself as an expert. So it's doing stuff like what Jade was saying with talking about all of your knowledge and using that on your social media and educating people via your social media and showing the before and afters and the success stories. Then people are going to listen to you because before they even booked, they knew that you knew what you were talking about.
Yeah. And also like a lot of people are I know myself, I'm a visual person, so I have to see like someone telling me what's best for me. Sometimes it's hard for me to like listen and absorb all that information. But if I'm like seeing a visual and like reading it, or it's like a reel or something, like I retain that information easier. Like that's just my personal learning style. So that's also like something taken into consideration.
I want to add in as well, because I know that a lot of our students and a lot of our team, and so maybe a lot of our listeners, fall into the people pleaser category. So if people are worried about standing their ground and saying what someone should get because they're worried about like conflict, they just have that instinct to make everybody happy. You're not making the person happy or pleasing that person if you put the wrong thing on them. Because if you do put the thing on them that is bad for them, that isn't what's best for their situation, they're going to have a shit experience. So in the short term, maybe you're people pleasing because you avoided conflict, but in the long term, you've got someone whose nails aren't lasting or who are breaking or whatever. They're going to probably stop coming back, and they're going to tell all their friends that you sucked. You are far better off just talking to them with knowledge and experience and backing yourself up at the start, even if you find yourself being a people pleaser and that sort of thing.
Definitely. Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, I want people to have a good experience and stuff. And you're right, if you do put the wrong thing on someone, then, you know, they're probably not going to come back because they'll be like, oh, you know, the nails don't last, but yeah, you haven't really told them what's best. Yeah.
100% agree with you guys.
Okay, so just before we wrap up, what is the number one either takeaway or advice you would give a newbie based on what we've chatted about?
Mine is flexibility over strength. Keep it at the A end of the scale as much as possible, unless there's like specific reasons why you move to B.
Mine would be establish what they want. So what you were saying, Penny, like the why.
Yeah, I agree with Erin. I think definitely asking the why. I feel like it covers so many questions that you could be asking them and taking up more time. Whereas you ask them why from the get-go, you get a rough idea of why they're wanting that product and then can recommend or agree with them as to what they're wanting.
And also just establishing yourself as an expert in your marketing so that then people want to listen to you. They'll start coming to you because you're going to tell them what to do, and they're not going to have that same other experience. Alrighty, with that done and dusted, before you disappear, like our page or follow the podcast so that you don't miss the next episode. We'll be back next week. Pat, what are we covering next week?
Next week, we are going to be coming to you with assumptions. So we've actually talked to staff, people in the Monaco community, and asked them for some assumptions that they've had. And we're going to get to breaking them down, seeing if any of these assumptions are true, and just having a good old yarn about them. And it's going to be so fun.
Because we're like 4 years behind the trend, but this was a YouTube trend, like your assumptions about me with all the like influencers and stuff. So this is assumptions about being a nail tech.
Cool.
I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be so fun. Yeah.
Alrighty, until then, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube by searching Monaco Nail Academy, or follow our salons. Mine is Hard Lacquer NZ.
Mine is Little Moon Nails.
Mine's Beauty by Jade.
Mine is Patsative Beauty, and my code is Patsative.
Anyone else want to chuck an affiliate code in there?
Mine's Little Moon.
Mine's Beauty by Jade.
Alrighty, have a great week and we'll see you next time.
Bye.